Love, attachment. What's the link? What's the difference? Let's give it a deep thought. Hello, this is Roubina Khodadin. Welcome back to the channel. We often hear that love is a feeling, right? And this love can be family love, can be love for children, can be love of more divine love, however we want to call love. But one way or the other, it comes down to what we say is a feeling. But how many times have we heard people who say, I fell in love with somebody, like really fast. And then a few weeks later, you're like, oh no, there were red flags. And no, I don't think I was in love with that person. Or how many times have we heard that, okay, we fall in love. And then 3 years down the line, we're like, no, it was a mistake. I was never in love with that person. So love, if we're talking of romantic love, could be a fleeting feeling. Could it really be a fleeting feeling? Or is it that what we call romantic love and the word we associate with what is romantic love is actually not romantic love? Could it be that sometimes we fall in love fast because just the other person makes us feel good and we think we're in love, but actually we're just in love with the feeling that they're giving us? Isn't it? It happens. Same thing for attachment. We say that there are some forms of attachment which are healthy, like, of course, we tend to be attached to our children if we've got, and usually even to our pets if we've got pets. It is kind of usual to hear that. But sometimes with other human beings, specifically in romantic relationships, sometimes some people get attached really fast, isn't it? Because attachment is supposed to be a link, a relationship that you build with somebody that gets you closer to the person. But sometimes we get attached very quickly because of our past wounds, because we are isolated, because we have been neglected as children. That makes some people get attached very, very, very quickly. So how can we manage our lives, specifically our love lives, with this knowledge of love and attachment? The rest is coming up. In the meantime, please like the video before you forget, and why not subscribe and click the little bell. So let's take two scenarios, right? We'll take a scenario where we were like 50 years ago, or even in some other societies in the world, where it happened that people got together, got married or engaged, regardless of whether they were in love. Meaning that they didn't need to know whether they were in love. It was based on other criteria, which was more linked with compatibility as opposed to feeling of love. And when we look at that, what are the results? The results are that in some cases it works really well. Some people have made very successful marriages and are very happy and in love. And in other cases it has created a lot of suffering, which is why there are different kinds of ways of coupling, people getting as a couple have emerged, right? We are now to the point that we're also talking about polyamorous relationships, because people are finding different ways to kind of experience love, experience relationships without too much suffering. So basically, whether it was the past versions or the current versions, when I say current versions, I mean today in the modern world, suffering is being experienced one way or the other. And that's why there are some theories which we're talking about, where we say you have to love without being attached to somebody. Yeah, there are many videos about this, and this comes from where? It comes from the fact that love can bring suffering. So Is that any better? Is that a solution? Building relationships with people and decided not to be attached to them? As human beings, are we not made also to have a sense of belonging? And attachment, isn't it a sense of belonging? So how can we remove the sense of belonging and decide to choose just the feeling of love? Does it make sense? Does it make sense to you? Leave me your comments to let me know if that makes sense to you, that we can remove the feeling of attachment and just focus on love. There are also other scenarios where maybe people are saying, well, maybe we can do that by going slower. And that sounds possibly fairer, because we obviously in Europe and America and everywhere, we don't necessarily want arranged marriages, don't we? But at the same time, when we're looking at people who are having repetitive, numerous failed relationships, when I say failed, it means one relationship after the other, creating many traumas within us. All that's creating is more and more suffering. And then when we mix with other people, we give them our suffering, because as we couple up, as we have intimate relationships, we do transfer some of what we have been. So maybe the solution would be to recognize that love is also a choice. Maybe not the choice that we used to make before, that people, whatever, our grandparents or before that, not that kind of choice, but maybe a choice to say consciously, okay, I will and we will choose to love each other and to build a proper relationship, instead of getting very much fastly falling in love, very much quickly getting attached, specifically after intimate relationships, and then realize 3 months later, 2 years later, 3 years later, that actually we maybe were not compatible, or we were not even in love, we just got attached, or we were in love but we fell out of love, or the love wasn't reciprocated. There's so many scenarios that we hear on so many videos. That's why there's so many love coaches and everything. So maybe the solution is to realize that love is, if it's linked to a relationship, it is actually a choice. And maybe it is also okay to realize that we do get attached to people differently and for different reasons. So being given that we will get attached, being given that we desire love, and being given that we don't want too much suffering, it might be a better idea to go slower in relationships, to get to know the other person, and to make love and a relationship a choice. Having said that, sometimes we can mistake the feeling of feeling love with the emotion of feeling good, which is why the next video that will appear is the difference between emotion and feeling, and you'll just have to click on it. But don't forget to leave me your comment, and I'll say thank you.